Hey, hey, how y'all doing? Welcome to Journey of an Artivist. How are y'all doing today? Take some time to breathe or not. But yeah, Journey of an Artivist is episode 4. And today I wanted to talk about completion, right? The principles of completion because I completed my album. I think by this time, yeah, I might be a week before my album, but nonetheless, it's complete. It's uploaded. I'm very happy. Oh my gosh, like it feels like a huge weight is off my shoulders, honestly. And obviously, it's a self-inflicted project. I don't want nobody to feel like bad for me, and I'm not saying it for that. But like, yeah, I just completed the album, and it took a lot of planning. Obviously, I was doing so many different projects, trying to remain, I guess, active, have my presence, up on TikTok so people don't forget about me and YouTube and stuff. But I don't think nobody cares regardless. But anyways, it took a lot of planning though to just get this formulated. It took a lot of trust really in God and source that okay, I'm doing the right thing. I'm, you know, I don't know. I just was trusting the signs honestly. No matter what happened in my life, it could be family, friends, anything was going on. It's like damn, I just gotta trust in God and trust in what I'm doing. So I wanted to talk about completion. Hopefully that helps anybody out there. You know what I'm saying? The reason why it feels like a huge load is off my shoulders because it does take a lot of psychic energy not only to create the music, create the vibe, create the theme, but then to record. I had a mantra that was like, recording is expression, right? It's like you get a different version of you every time you record, and sometimes I have to go high, sometimes I have to go low. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, um, so yeah, it's just a reflection on the importance of completion within any journey that you're on. But for me, being an artist and an activist, a freedom fighter, there's a deeper importance, at least for me, when it comes to make sure they're still recording. When it comes to completion, um, yeah, there's a deeper importance for me when it comes to completion, right? Frank Ocean, I know y'all like Frank Ocean, or maybe not, but he said a lot of people aren't good at finishing. Like you have to be good at finishing, at completing a project. I think it was an interview. He was reflecting on his project that he completed. But like yeah, so I wanted to go over the principles of completion for me, and really why I guess why it's important. I feel like especially with me when it comes to being an artist, when it comes to being an activist as well. You know, well let's touch on the activist part. There's really no completion on the journey of an activist, right? Think about Angela Davis and Bell Hooks and James Baldwin up until almost the day that they, pass away or go away. I think Angela Davis is still alive, but like all of the other scholars that we've had, their journey is never really complete. I feel like when it comes to activism, being a freedom fighter, you always have the fight is continuous because a lot of these struggles are systemic. A lot of these problems are systemic. So we have to keep going, keep fighting. So there's no really form of completion, but more so completion of ideas. You see Angela Davis has a new book out constantly, or she did at a point, and you know, it's how to say, it's a tool in how she's able to understand a topic more so for herself but also for others, right? That's how she gets a point across, through completion, right? And when it comes to forming an organization, forming a movement or anything like that, you need to abide by the principles of completion, getting it done. Like when the Black Panther started, I think it was only like a couple of brothers, like every week when they were talking and having the talks with Huey Newton and stuff, until eventually more people came around and stuff. More people were invested in what they were doing. More people were seeing what was going on in the world. So you just have to complete. If they were like, damn, nobody cares about Black liberation, Black Panther's party would not exist, right? So in artistry, I'm gonna go over, at least artistry and activism, I'm gonna go over the principles I have for completion. Now I'll just do start, middle, and end. I don't want to name them because, I want it to be free for anybody to name, But for me, I'm gonna go with the start. Principle number one is really the start, right? The idea, right? A lot of us, we have 30,000 thoughts a day, or 70,000. One of them, we have a lot of thoughts that flow through our mind each and every day. Some of them are valuable, some of them are not really valuable, some of them are repetitive. Most of them are repetitive, actually, in terms of our identity, who we identify as, our skin. Okay, I know that I'm this person. Okay, cool. But the completion of an idea is getting that idea out of your head and completing it on paper. I think a lot of people have a lot of nice business ideas, organization ideas, ideas for their life, but honestly, they're not completing the idea. What I think completing the idea looks like is taking it out of your head, not only speaking it out loud, but having it in some form of tangible, I don't know, tangible material, right? You can put it down on paper, you can put it down on a phone. Okay, boom, what are the next steps, right? And it's not only just having the idea and putting it on paper, but more so I think the most important part of principle number 1 is the message. What message do you want to get across really in life? And I feel like that has helped me, at least in this album. It's like when I had the album, I'm like, okay, I know that I want to make an album, but about what, right? So I had to give myself different themes, different ideas. How do I want to contribute to the world with what I'm making, right? Where are the different avenues that my creation is going to flow through, right? So this album that I'm making, Socially Acceptable, it's like, well, before I even came up with a name, I had to think about what am I really going through really in my life? Like, based on my life's perspective, based on what I'm doing here, what are the different avenues that my creation can really shine the best, right? I can't talk about someone else's perspective on being socially acceptable, but I can talk about my own, and therefore I can also talk about the activism part of it. Activism is not just chanting in the streets, it's not just reacting, it's not just boycotting, but it's more so getting to the roots of these things. So I have to get to the root of me and think about what do I want to form this idea around. So I have the idea, the album, the theme, but what is the message? Do I want people to heal after this? Do I want people to react and get angry after this? What type of emotion am I gonna kind of conjure, right? Because everybody makes music, right? It's not hard to make music. As I said, Frank Ocean said, a lot of people can create, but a lot of people can't finish. I think a lot of people can also make music. Anybody can make music, but it's more so, for me, I feel like I have a lot of good songs, but it's easy to make a crap song and put it out into the world. I really respect the audience's ears, so I would never do that. At least I wouldn't put something out just because everybody's listening in our house, everybody's listening to Cash Code. I'm not gonna put out that type of music because it's what's popping. I'm gonna put out what really resonates with the deeper layers of issues that everyone has or that I might experience, but I know that everyone might experience some type of resemblance of it. So define the message, because it's gonna be the frequency that you want to attune to once you're in the realm of creation. So yeah, say it out loud, make it full bodied, make it intentioned or intentional, and have different avenues for that creation to flow. So I would say that's the first part of your completion, because you can't get nowhere without that part. For my second part, which I would say the middle is really the hardest part, because now you have your idea, you have the blueprint. What do you do from that point? Well, what do you do from that point? Really, the middle is the hardest. Even when making I made a book, a short story and poetry book. The middle is really the hardest to write because it gets monotonous. It's like sometimes I think I would see TikTok posts where people are like, you're like in this realm of life where you're just doing the day-to-day things, which is eat, laundry, and sleep. It's like, okay, this is day-to-day. Making your art in the middle process, like the start is the most fun, because I can come up with ideas and theories and I don't really have to commit to it with my physical action. But once you have the ideas out, okay, I have to make this kind of good. I have to make it something, exists. But like, honestly, you don't have to do anything on it. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. I feel like the middle part, which is the most important, but it can also be the most tender or the most, sacred for you, is to just continue. What is the foundation of why you are creating? If you're creating to get viral, make $1 million, or do whatever, or if you're doing activism so that you can be a well-known freedom fighter, when it doesn't pan out that way, or if it doesn't pan out that way, what you're going to falter and lose trust in yourself. You based yourself, your spirit, on getting this accomplishment, getting this achievement. However, when you don't achieve that, well, what happens to that self? You start to get into a blaming mode. How does this person have more likes? His song not even that good. How does this person, have a voice and he's not even... You have to stay in the middle. What is the foundation? For me, the foundation of me even making this album, whether or not people like it, whether or not people listen, people think it's off-putting, whatever the case is, I know that my foundation is just to add something to the universe, add something to the collective consciousness, something positive and purposeful. I feel like sometimes people might think it's hard to make conscious music, right? It's hard to make positive music because nobody want to listen to that. It's not fun to hear about healing and healthy habits and meditate. It depends on how you do it and how you say it, and also how consistent are you really with these messages. And honestly, when you think about it, at least for me, when I was thinking about it, I realized I was mirroring a lot of what the mainstream was saying, a lot of what mainstream thinks about conscious artists, a lot of what I did not hear in the music I was consuming, right? So I'm like, well, I have to rewire myself, I have to reparent myself, and therefore help myself stay in the middle, right? The middle is really the one of the hardest parts, really, just to be in the middle of that creation. You already have the idea, the theme, all these good ideas. You probably pitched it to a couple of friends, which I don't do, but you probably pitched it to a couple of friends. They say, yes, it's good. You got the validation already. Now you have to be in the middle, the ugly part, where some days you might not like yourself. Some days you might not like what is going on. And this is not just for being an artist, for being an activist, but it could be for anything. You're doing a business plan, you're completing college, really, or you're completing a certain seminar. The middle part of anything, even a relationship, is really the hard, because there is the monotonous. How to keep creating and keep being inspired, keep being motivated. But it's just to keep going daily, daily, daily. Anyways, yeah, so that was really my journey. The middle was really the hardest. Lots of things happened, especially with like the holiday season and family and trauma, things just happen. So, I could have been like, damn, let me just put this album on the shelf because let me sort out these interpersonal relationships, and once I think that they're perfect, not good enough for me to now come back to myself, then I'll complete the art. But no, you have to keep completing even through that. Put the emotion, put the voice on it. Get the fiery, thoughts really in your activism. Like, what do you want to see, right? And I think the holiday time was perfect for me because I'm like, wow, and I hate, I'm not blaming anybody for trauma, right? But I'm also saying, I saw that there was a lot of emotional disunity, I guess. I saw that there's a lot of things that were unspoken, right? A lot of rules that are unspoken, a lot of boundaries that are unspoken, and how we are able to step on each other's toes. And I'm like, well, this is kind of helping me more in my purpose, because I want to help create third spaces. I want to help create a room for these conversations, for us to close this generational gap, not completely, but enough for us to have these conversations, to see differences and accept differences rather than more so in enmeshments, right? I feel like a lot of people get estranged from their families, or a lot of people might do the estranging or the estrangement, or be complicit in it when that person that you have, or you might even be the person, is not aligning with how they saw your life going. So it's like they can't even support you. They can't even fathom, their ego can't even fathom you as a person, as an individual being. So it's like, I want to close those generational gaps. How can we have conversations based on how you were raised, what you think is holistic and right, and versus how I was raised, what I've seen in my lifetime, and how can we have these conversations, hold the differences, and learn from each other. So that was helping me more so in my purpose. If I stopped and more so dealt with the feelings rather than the energy of the feelings, then the album wouldn't be finished, and maybe I wouldn't even really be a freedom fighter, right? I would just be fighting for myself, for my right to exist as an individual. I know that I deserve to exist. I know that I'm a positive, not even positive person. I know that I'm a person that is here to add something to the collective consciousness. So let me just do that. Everything else, it matters, and I'll include it, and I'll hold space for it. But, the work is what you need to do. So that middle part, it includes all of that, right? But you have to keep going. You have to keep creating. And I would say the last part really is to let it go. Let it go. That's probably the second hardest. Really, to let it go. Because I feel like, a lot of people want to perfect everything. And because why we want to perfect things? Because we're looking at what somebody would say. I even catch myself doing it. When I'm listening to my song, I'm like, oh yeah, this person going like this. I wonder what they going to think when they hear this part or this part or this part. So you want to perfect every detail. Almost to the point where you take out all the rawness, right? You take out, like for me when I'm recording, or for me when I'm putting out a video that's talking about maybe life or talking about perspectives or the black community, I might be like, damn, this is not politically correct, or damn, why did my voice sound like that? Why did it go so high or low? I sounded kind of flat. You want to almost perfect it to the point where your spirit is not even wanting to be involved. You're trying to really cultivate this this person that you are, this identity, this vessel, to the point of perfection. When you know that your soul kind of wants to come out just a certain way. And yeah, the hardest part really is to let it go. Let your art go. Stop perfecting it. Stop caring about every single detail. Really just let it go out into the air for me. Of course, care about the different details as much as you can, but I think the best part with helping you let it go is having a timeline. Have a timeline. I got this from one of my mentors that I listen to on my podcast. But have a timeline. Have a deadline, a date that you will have to put it out. For me, originally, my deadline was like February 2nd. But I pushed it up a month because of circumstances. But it was a smart circumstance. Like, the album was already done. Technically, it's just small parts. But I'm like, nah, I have the opportunity to push it up a month. But at least I had that deadline. And now it can go out. But without a deadline, it's like you have the opportunity to perfect. You might perfect it forever until you don't even like what you've made anymore. You don't even like the idea anymore until your friends was like, oh yeah, your business plan, you've been saying that for 4 years. Nah, I support you, man. And like, life changes, right? And I feel like it's one of those things. It's two things, right? I'm gonna give two examples. One is like, say that you're in class and you have your hand up. I feel like I gave this example before, but you have your hand up, and then you put your hand down. You're like, nah, that's not the right answer. So you're not gonna put that energy out into the world. You're not gonna put that frequency out into the world. But because everything is so interconnected, somebody says the exact same thing you were gonna say. They raise their hand. They're like, oh, isn't it such and such? And you're like, damn, I was thinking that. I was just about to say that. Yes, you were. And I think God does the same thing with ideas as he does with answers. This answer at this point was supposed to go out into the world. It might not be at minute 1, minute 2, or hour 1, hour 2, but it's supposed to go out into the world. If you refuse to put that creativity out into the world, well, somebody else will get a chance, get an opportunity to do it. That's not to say to rush to your purpose, but more so hold space for it to go out and to flow through you, for God to really trust you with it. If you have an idea and you're cultivating, you're making it, but you won't really get to the end, you won't complete it, you won't put it out, well, how are you supposed to experience the flaws in it? And how are you supposed to experience just a completed product? You know what I'm saying? You don't stop in the middle of making food, because you're going to have half-cooked food. And can't nobody enjoy it. You have to be able to finish. So, my second analogy that I was going to give, it's like going to daycare. When you was 6 years old, if you had the experience of daycare, it could be school. You know that this is the first day of school, first day of daycare, and you're going to leave at 8 a.m. No matter what, this is your deadline. You have to leave your parents' hands by 8 a.m. I could give my example. It's like, oh, mom, I have to go to school. Okay, I'm in the car the whole time. I'm kind of anxious. And then it's like, time. All right, see you later. Have a good day. And I'm like, wait, you're going to leave. Like, this is it. Like, you're going to leave no matter what. There's no, wait, mom, can we go back home and like try this day over? It's like, that's it. Time is going to keep going. So therefore, you have a deadline for yourself. And I feel like constantly look into the deadline. I feel like people made enough podcasts or videos about visualization, so I'll just add it as a little tidbit. Having a visual idea of when that deadline is. For me, I think I started in when I started recording, when I started making music though, like September 2025 for this album, I was looking at the calendar date of February. So I'm like, I know I have to be at a certain point by October, by November. You start waking up, looking. It's like the idea is kind of haunting you almost, and it's like you have to have a deadline for yourself and then complete it. But yeah, those are my 3 principles for completion. Have the idea and the message, struggle through the middle, get through the middle, and then 3, let it go. And I think the best part about letting it go, or how you can more easily let something go, have another project afterwards. Don't just stay there like, this is it, I'm complete. No, have another project. Have like 3, 4 projects over. I'm not going to give you advice that's kind of been detrimental to me. I was going to say, overwhelm yourself. You don't have to do that, but maybe overwhelm yourself maybe a little bit with ideas. You already have concepts for another project that you're going to do. So you putting this out, it's just so that you can get to something better. Something that's, your visual language or your artistic language is going to change a lot more once you complete. So it's like, all right, once I complete this, I know that I'll be much better at such and such and such. I can reach a much higher scale. Like, for instance, like Dr. Umar. what he's doing in his school, right? He's gonna complete this. Once he's done completing the school, he's gonna move on to such and such and such and such and such and such. Like, he already has an idea. It's not just, I'm gonna get to school and then this is gonna be the best thing ever. It's more so, this is what I have. This is almost in the way. Like, I have to get this done, obviously appropriately and at the best time. But also, it's the next thing that I gotta do, and the next thing, and the next thing. He already has a vision that's much deeper, and maybe you might not get to do everything you want to do in your lifetime, right? Like, for me, I might not get to make 9-10 albums. I might not get to the different purposes that I have layered underneath the albums. But at least I have that headline. So if I'll just give another analogy. I guess I can really work off of poems and music, but like, say that I wanted in my mind, right? I'm drawing something like, I need to have 11 albums by 23, and then I get to like 8. For me, I might shame myself individually, but externally, if I don't tell my purpose, everybody's looking at me like, damn, he got 8 albums done. But me, I'm like, damn, I was supposed to be at 11. I was supposed to be at 12. It's like, have another project at the end. So yeah, complete it, let it go, have another project also in your mind, so it's easier for you to let it go. This ain't even your best work. But yeah, and also the last step, even though I said 3, congratulate yourself. You finished, right? You're done. It's over. You co-created with the universe, and that's a powerful thing. And I think everything is a form of co-creation. If you plant things, if you do crochet, if you make a whole computer, right? I was about to give an example, but I don't want to give those examples. But like, if you complete like maybe an essential oil, if you make like an incense, like one of those incense, is it incense? Anyways, if you make like a candle or something, you just co-created with the universe. This is a creation out of your idea, your hands, your physical body put into a physical form. So yeah, congratulate yourself. You're done. You've done it. Nobody's gonna do it for you. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna congratulate. I mean, you might have that external validation, but I feel like the best comes from you in those silent moments where you're like, you know what? Good job. No matter if you make any money, no matter if 1 million people view it or maybe 3 people, and you get one comment that's like, this was kind of long, buddy. You completed it. Congratulate yourself, because this is something that you wanted to do. So yeah, that's all I gotta say for today. Really, journey of an activist is really important to complete, and I just wanted to share this because I'm at the end, and I'm so happy, so excited. I can barely contain myself because I know that this is completed. I know that this isn't anything anybody was waiting on. Like, it's real early. Like, nobody cares. But it's more so, I was ready. I was waiting to complete it. So yeah, be the best you. Take care of yourself. I hope this helps really with I guess anybody, any perspective, any way you're looking at it. I hope that this resonates though, because sometimes I'm like, damn, I'm just talking from the perspective of an artist or an activist. There are different perspectives out there that I can include in my own, but more so, I think that this should apply to anything that you do in life, whether that's getting your license, whether that's, going to the moon, you know what I'm saying? There's a start, there's a middle, and then there's an end, and then there's a next step afterward. There's a next project. That's all we do really in this life, is to work and get to the next, and fulfill ourselves. So yeah, take care of yourself, be the best you, and stream the album when it comes out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, next Wednesday, March. What day is that? Anyways, yeah, facts. It's gonna be out. Take care.